activist is my way of trying to have, my small impact on the world. So that's why ACTIIVST is so meaningful to me, because it's not a brand, it's not a platform, it's an extension of who I am. And so that can be that can make you very uncomfortable at times, but as uncomfortable as it makes me, it's the most rewarding work of my life.
There's that. So we went from the garage to here. Ready for this? We're not in this to make any money. We're not even getting any money back at this point. We're just investing in these individuals and these organizations. That's how it's coming to life. Building a community is difficult, particularly in the way that we're trying to build a community. A community, a real authentic, grassroots, purpose-driven community. Maybe I'm not doing it the right way, but I've found that to be more difficult, and it's really tested my patience. The biggest challenges are actually the inner voices that you have that make it really hard on yourself to bring something that you care so deeply about out into the world to be judged by other people. That's the hardest thing. And because we as a society have measurements for those types of things, right? Say it, how many t-shirts have you sold? How many followers do you have? How many likes does the video get? How many views does the video get? Whatever. There's so many ways that the external world measures success and failure. But I am disciplined to the belief that in the long run, and it will surely take longer than it would if I employed all those tactics to get followers, to get subscribers, to sell more t-shirts, to get more, that's running a business. That's not necessarily building a community. I look at what we're doing, I look at the impact that we're having, I look at the way that we've positively impacted one individual's life, and that brings me an enormous, enormous sense of pride. So it's living in those two worlds where I'm incredibly proud of what we're doing, not just in the context of this project, but I'm incredibly proud of myself. And then in other moments, I'm feeling like a complete failure, if I'm being honest. So it's just trying to, have enough personal accountability to keep going while allowing yourself to be proud of yourself along the way. So when we started out this whole thing, like many things that start out with people, you pull together the things that are part of your life, right? So I'm a lifelong athlete. I care a lot about different social causes. I've always had a drive to do something entrepreneurial with my life. And I've acquired these skills in business through my career professionally that I thought were going to be the vehicle to bring all of those things together, right? So many of the things that you kind of see today all started with the idea that we were going to create an apparel brand out of this. And the way that we were going to reach people was through storytelling. And I remember talking to my wife and so many other people about throwing out different names and adjectives to try to describe what we were doing. And, we landed on activist. And it's funny, my wife and I even had the same idea at the same time of how to take that word and have a play on it in the way that it's spelled. And that has evolved into what the brand name, if you will, and logo is that you see today. But also this idea of, duality, right? So the two I's together represent the duality of being an athlete advocate. We were a brand, but we're also a platform, right? You advocate for yourself, but also your community, right? This constant kind of dual purpose is the whole idea of putting those eyes together and signifying to the world that, this isn't just being an activist, this is something different. I don't remember a specific moment where we started to shift away from being an apparel brand, where that was a priority, into being more of a platform that creates change-making content. But I'll say this. I will say that in reflection, it was probably always in that order. It was probably always my focus to share stories. I just might not have realized it at the time. So that's happening. And then Jordan Whetstone, who's the founder of Rising Hearts, her and I are discussing some larger projects to work on for later this year. So there's actually a lot happening, and it's keeping us quite busy. My perspective on where we are today, that's an interesting question for me, because in one sense, we're nowhere where I want to be. We're nowhere where I thought we were going to be, in one sense. But in another sense, we're at a place that I think is really where I've always wanted to be. I just didn't necessarily realize it. The thing that inspires me the most are the individual people that we connect with, hands down. That's what drives me. And look, absolutely, it's because, our way of amplifying their story, bringing more awareness to not just themselves, but the cause that they're advocating for, and hopefully that being a way for other people to be inspired to find their own path and their own journey. And then the direct impact we can then have on those individuals, on those causes, for the organizations that are connected with. All of that stuff motivates and inspires me endlessly. But there's something in it for me. I'm not gonna lie, I get joy out of that. That brings me joy, I think we're really clear, more so than ever, on who we are today. By virtue of staying disciplined to that vision, using it as a filter to guide all of our actions, then at some point in the future, we're going to be able to have a larger impact than we are today. And that's the vision for the future. It's no more complicated than that.